Welcome back to the Dragon's Lair, everybody. My name is Wade, and this is my show Let's Talk, where we talk about Warhammer 40k 11th edition. We're going through the event pack because playing through the event pack will help you understand what to do at a tournament. You can play without the rules in the event pack. You can dice off for everything. You can make up your own way of doing it, just as long as you and your opponent agree and think it's fair, okay? But we're talking about the event pack. So this is a video in a series. In the other videos, I go through the muster step, and I go through secondary objectives and primary objectives, and your detachments and detachment points, and force dispositions and things like that. All of that is pretty important now that you understand that. Detachments, force dispositions, how to compare force dispositions, where to get your missions, where to get your deployment zone layouts, all that stuff. It's in the other videos. Go check it out. I'm showing you step by step. Okay. So let's get down to this one. We're kind of at the end here. So the last video is secondary missions, mission objectives, and now we're in step 7. Declare battle formations. So this is where you decide who's in transports and who's going to stay in strategic reserves. So technically, if you were going to an RTT, which is like the lowest level of tournament, it's real casual. Like you can bring proxy models and you don't have to be fully painted. Not at least not here where I play in Lansing, Michigan. There's a great place that I play in Lansing, Michigan. It's called AFK Games. Great place, Southside Lansing. Anyways, but if you were playing an RTT, you wouldn't have to decide the same thing every time because you're gonna fight like 3 different opponents. You're gonna play 3 games, and you could, depending on your opponent, put people in transports or not put people in transports differently every time. Hold things in reserves or not hold things in reserves every time. And as a Tyranid player, this is most helpful when playing Subterranean Assault. I really feel in the RTT world, most people keep something in reserve to like throw down in the backfield, and everyone knows to protect the backfield. And it's so common that sometimes I don't do it just to like throw the other player. But I don't know, you pretty much have to have like throwing something in the backfield plan. But anyways, step 7 is where you make that decision. Then it goes into step 8. Uh, Players take it in turns, setting up their units, excluding strategic reserves because you're holding them back, like deep strike units, for example, one at a time, wholly within the deployment zone, starting with the defender. So remember, in earlier steps, we rolled off to see who was the attacker and who was the defender. This is part where that comes in handy. Excuse me. If you set up Titanic units, and it is your turn, you skip your next turn to set up. So it's basically like a Titanic unit is worth setting up 2 units. Once you have finished up setting up your units, if your opponent has any units that has not been set up, they set up those units. So they just, we go back and forth, 1 for 1. I'm all set up. You still have units. Then you just set everything up. As a Tyranid player, I like that sometimes if I'm playing a lot of Gaunts, because then I can put the Gaunts out on the field, and then you are then counter deploying in response to my Gaunts, not my Tyrannofexes, in correspondence to my Gaunts, not my Swarmlord. So there's some advantage there to volume of units and spamming, is what I'm saying. Redeploy units. Some rules let you redeploy certain units after both armies are deployed, unless otherwise stated. You resolve those rules in the step. Players alternate resolving any such rules, starting with the attacker. Units placed in strategic reserves in this step do not count towards the combined point value of your strategic reserves. There is a maximum point value that you can keep in strategic reserve. So then you determine first turn. So you've already rolled off to determine who is the attacker and who is the defender. That's in a previous step. So now you roll off, and the winner takes the first turn. Not the winner decides. The winner takes the first turn. And this is important because in previous editions, whoever won this roll got to choose. The winner takes the first turn. So sometimes you want to roll poorly. Sometimes you want to roll well. Resolve pre-battle rules. So this is a great place where scouts come in handy because you would get scout moves. But that's really handy for stuff like Gene Stealers and things like that. I'm a Tyranid player, so I play other armies, but I'm going to talk about Tyranids most. Players alternate resolving any pre-battle rules. Units from your army that have starting with units from their army may have starting with the player who will take the first turn. So resolving the pre-battle rules. So for example, I like to play Invasion Fleet a lot. This is where you choose your hyper adaptation. So once again, RTT. If I go and I play an Imperial Guard player who's got 120 guardsmen, all right, I'm going to go hyper aggression so I can get those extra sustained hits. If I'm going to play against a knight player, I'm going to choose the one that gives me the lethal hits against monsters and vehicles, which I forget the name of that off the top of my head. But this is where you hyper adapt. This is also where you would choose the bread for your Norn emissaries and your assimilators. Anyways, so then you go into step 12, which is begin the battle. The first battle round begins. Now, I want to take this opportunity to stress there is a difference, and you need to know the difference between turn and round. Okay? A round, let's just say I am the first player, you are the second player. I go, you go. That is round one. I go, you go. That is round two. Round is both of us going once. Okay. Then there's turn. Okay. Then there's phases in your turn. Okay. So the reason why this is important is if you look at Old One Eye, and they may have eroded him, right? It says in the command phase. It used to say in the command phase. They may have fixed it, but I'm proving a point. He regenerates D3 lost wounds. So in my command phase and in your command phase. Okay. So knowing what happens once per turn, just like there's some abilities with like I think Hive Tyrants, okay, where they can make a stratagem cost 0 CP or less -1 CP, right? But they can do it once a turn. So I can do it once during my turn and once during your turn. And I could be off about the specific Hive Tyrant use thing, but what I'm saying is if something happens once a turn, it can happen on my turn, it can happen on your turn. If something happens once a round, I can do it on my turn, but then I wouldn't be able to do it on your turn till the round was over. So all I'm doing is stressing the importance between turn and round. The battle begins, end the battle. The battle ends after 5 battle rounds. So I'll get to go 5 times and you'll get to go 5 times. One thing that you can see is that there's no longer a turn 6. In previous editions, there sometimes was a turn 6. And they've changed rules so that the person who goes first and the person who goes second, regardless of who that is, there's a new mechanism to score points in turn 5 that does not favor the person who goes second. So there used to be a belief held that if you go second, you have a greater opportunity to gain points on turn 5, which sometimes won you the game. So they've changed that dynamic. Just watch out for that. If that was big for you in 10th, just watch out for that. So even if you have no models remaining in your army and the start of your turn, players continue to play out their turns until the battle ends. Oh, that's a new one. I didn't know that. Anyways, so I mean, yeah, you could gain more points. Determine the victor. So this is also important. Each player scores 10 victory points if their army is painted to the battle ready standard, which I think is 3 different colors on every model. At the end of the battle, the player with the most VP, which is victory points, is the victor. If the players are tied, the battle is a draw. The maximum victory points that can be scored for each source of victory points is listed below. This is important because I have gotten this wrong before. So I'm trying really hard to stay on this. But I really do suggest get the app on your phone. It's free. It's for Android and iOS. And you can get the free version of it. You can build one army at a time. I build it, then I record it on a spreadsheet, and then I've got it. You know what I mean? So you can use the free version, and now with 11th, they have their own battle tracker on there where you can record your battles. So they're finally doing some smart stuff. It's not paywalled yet. Anyways, so with your primary mission, the maximum in the whole game is just 45 victory points, and it's 15 victory points per battle round. So if you would score 20 for whatever silly reason, you only get 15. I have been guilty of accidentally writing down more victory points than what I could score per turn, and I caught myself. It did not win me the game. I forget who won that game, but my point is it did not affect the outcome of who the winner was because we caught it and we adjusted it. Secondary missions, 45 victory points, up to 15 victory points per battle round. Now keep in mind, go back and look at your secondary missions. That can screw you. Because if you're out there just slapping the secondary mission objectives around, that can screw you. Because remember, they're like side quests now. So you can hold on to a bunch of them. You can have like 8 of them, for example, and then like fulfill them all like at the same time. But if you fulfill them all at the same time, you can't get more than 15 per battle round. You and me and you. If we each take a turn, that's a round. Anyways, and then 10 victory points if you're battle ready. In addition, you can gain a maximum of 20 victory points per fixed secondary mission card. So go back to looking at fixed versus tactical objectives. I really am going to try to go tactical in this edition. I was a big believer in fixed, and everyone told me I was crazy. But with a Biovore, I was all over the place with a Biovore and Gaunts. 120 Gaunts for sure. Anyways, I really enjoy making these videos. I really enjoy sharing Warhammer 40k. If you have any questions about any of the other steps, 1 to 14, they're in the previous videos. Go check them out. Super chill. Here to help. Go check them out. We at the Dragon's Lair want to say thank you for spending your time with us at the Dragon's Lair.